tank damage from 35 or from 50 to 35 plus 15 versus armored is going to make zealots even more versatile against siege tanks. And so this is a nice little push. He's got the medevacs to give him the air support and the range to see up, and he's going to move in just in range here, and he's just going to start slowly walking his way in. And just the way that the Terran does this, it's so reminiscent of Brood War, where they would just get right outside their base and just barely get in range, and just, I think this tank is actually just well too out of position. See, now this tank is almost safe, and these two are really nice. And when you can control your opponent like this, you can just poke in with these more mobile units, and if the zealots start to charge, you just back up and the siege tank takes care of them, and a little bit of splash damage will hit your marines, but zealots charging marines when they're backing up aren't going to do that much damage. I would like to see these medevacs in a different control group. He's got a couple probes here throwing pylons down so he can warp in some units from behind. I don't really know why he's scouting so much here. This is pretty bad because it's going to give away the fact that he's coming in from behind. And here it comes. Here's the big surround. These zealots are going in. The immortals are going to come in and clean up these tanks. Very, very smart. Although there are a lot of units left to take out these immortals, and that's, I guess, a fair trade. I wouldn't say too fair. Actually, yeah, I think Huck came out a little bit ahead because he saved that immortal. And obviously he broke the contain that was trying to be put down on him. So very nice play from Huck, realizing that he needed to get in on those tanks in some way without having to run through the marines. And he did so very well with using those zealots to force the marines to run up the ramp, because they had the zealots coming in from behind. If the marines ran down this way to deal with the immortals, they would have been running right past the zealots, which were getting hit by the tank fire, so would have been completely suicidal. So very nice control. Also, I really like this unit mixture. He's making just enough immortals to deal with the tanks, but he's not going too immortal crazy, because immortals are just really bad against marines. They don't do that much damage, and they're so expensive and time consuming and building wise. We have Huck throwing down 3 more gateways. This is excellent play. He's also getting out Psystorm with the Templar Archives, and he's throwing down his 3rd expansion. So he's really looking to play this game for the long run. Another attack right now isn't really going to be coming. You're safest whenever you've just broken a contain, especially when you've taken out an army that is very strong, but it also takes a very long time to build up. Marines don't take that long to build, but because they're not very good in small numbers, it's really important. And there's a drop in the back here that I'm missing. Oh, and this is really big. The Psystorm has already gone down, so he's gonna have some Psystorm, but he didn't actually manage to cancel that upgrade on the I believe it's the plus 25 upgrade for Templar. And I'm not really sure where his Templar are. Okay, there they are. So that upgrade didn't get to go down, so he's going to have to start that again, and he's lost the 150 minerals and gas investment. And Tarson actually did a really good job of getting both of his medevacs out with full health, or not, with full cargo rather than full health. And so that was almost for nothing lost. I think he might have lost 1 unit in the cost it takes to repair. And that's really the only important factor here. And so Tarson's going to go ahead and knock down these destructible rocks. A little bit late here. He's going to be falling behind in the macro a little bit. But the one thing that Terran can make up for with, army size is army density. And if he gets a critical number of tanks, 7 or 8 tanks, maybe 6 or 7, if you're dealing with units like sentries and zealots without speed. But definitely 6 or 7 or more is a very critical number. If you can manage to not have them focus fire on the immortals, which only take 10 damage with their shields. It's a very good number to turn the tide of pretty much any battle, just with their splash damage and massive damage. It's pretty ridiculous. And so Scan going down to take out that observer. He's moving his tanks back to a more defensible position. Now this is something about this map that I don't like, is that it feels, and I say it feels because it really isn't, but it feels like it's very easily defended from this area. But the problem with this area is that you're really vulnerable in your back here, and you're even vulnerable right here. And it feels like such a nice cliff. I mean, it's a double cliff. Like, from here up is actually 2 levels of terrain. Not that that really matters at all, but it just feels even stronger. So putting your tanks up there, sure, they can hit everything here, but if you bring your forces in, the only units they're going to be able to hit are the zealots. And that is just not, I don't think that's good enough. I think that you need to have a more defensive posture on this map, and you need to throw your tanks. A couple tanks up here is good. They're good to hit the units that are in range of them, and also to just show that it's really hard to break that contain. And so we have 2 drops going down at the very same time, and this is really bad. Huck's losing a lot of workers, and he's actually food blocked, and he's going to have to move his forces around, and he's not even going to be able to get these medevacs, although I believe they're about to go down. Oh, no, never mind. There really aren't any stalkers in this army. The stalkers all moved to here, and a bug just flew right into my face. And so I think that the Protoss player is going to obviously have to make something happen here. Tarson is just doing a great job. I don't know why he's dropping here. He doesn't see all of these units. This is suicide. He's doing a great job of forcing the Protoss player back, and in the meanwhile, he knows that the Protoss player is at the very back of his base. He's out of position. He's going to be able to come up here, although there are, oh my goodness. Come on, we're going to see some amazing storms right here. Oh yes, that Archon is going to be blocking the way. The siege tank's getting on. Oh, please don't lose that. Oh yeah, there we go. One more storm on those tanks and they are done for. They are all at exactly 80 health or less. Really needs to take out those tanks. Okay, good that the Immortal did there. I'm not rooting for Huck per se, but I do like watching Protoss units destroy Terran units because everyone thinks Terran units are so overpowered. And I myself am probably about to switch Terran because it's the only team I can win with, but that's because I'm a nub. But this is just such a huge army of Zealots, and a lot of them are injured, but you know the shields are going to come back up, and they're such a meaty, hardy unit. He's got those observers going around the map. You know, this is something that, especially when you're playing a really economic build like Zealot Templar against Terran, I really like to see is just get like 7 observers and just put like one here, one like here, you know, one right here, one where this one is. Just put them all around the map and just use this wall of observers to constantly be able to protect against drops, because they're pretty much the cheapest thing, because I mean they only cost gas and like a little bit of minerals, like 5,100 I believe is what the cost is, and that you're going to save so much money in the long run. And so these Zealots are moving in. A couple Zealots here are going to try and take some siege tank fire. This just looks like it could be almost GG. There's so many Protoss units here. Great EMP going down, taking out the Immortal shields, taking out all the sentries, but it looks as though that the Templar all really had used their storms, and it's a little too late. Pretty much the only thing in this army is mules and SCVs and just a few Marauders and Marines. And so with Tarson losing his only, his 3rd expansion, his only other mining base besides this one, as well as having to pull all these SCVs back, and I believe he has just a few SCVs chilling here, it's going to end up being the most saturated base I've ever seen. This is pretty awesome. It's actually so saturated it's lagging my computer. And just for good measure, he lifts it off so we can see the massive number of SCVs. So not gonna lie, it doesn't look like Tarson's all that great of a position here. He did a really good job of harassing, of moving his units around and doing the multi-pronged attacks, but unfortunately his macro was a little bit behind, and I think that's gonna end up, 2 Zealots in the back here just gonna get so many kills. There's 9 kills on this Zealot, 9 kills on that one. Not that it matters. Right now he's doing Tarson a favor. Just get rid of that excess drone count that he has. With 2 Ghosts and 2 Marauders, I mean, those could be little hero ghosts, but I don't think it's going to happen. We have some Void Rays with speed coming out. How mean is that? First time you see Void Rays, they've already got speed. And he's just done this quick transition. He's got all the money in the world that he needs. He's on the high yield over here. He's long distance mining it because he has so many probes. Good lord, he is saturated. I want to see this unit count. He is at 86 probes. That is ridiculous. And the Terran player is probably not going to be able to clean this up just because didn't have enough Marines there. And Tarson just says G. Doesn't say GG. I guess he just got a little short with him. But no, it was a great game. I really liked seeing Huck's macro. You could definitely see how he is the champion of the recent MLG Rally tournament. And he's from Canada too, which is awesome for all you Canadian douches. And I'm referring to people in my guild, not you random viewers that happen to be Canadian. If there are any of you, I don't really believe it anyway. But alright, we're going to be doing another pro game in just a little bit. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. Thanks. Bye-bye.